welcome back to the Ride and Laugh podcast. If you love mountain biking, you are in the right place. Picture your last group ride. The stoke is high. Everyone's back at the parking lot talking bikes, tech, nutrition, jumps, drops, everything about mountain bikes. You love bikes. We love bikes. Let's drop in. Nailed it that time, Sage. Congratulations. That's it, everybody. Have a great week and a great week of riding. If you are listening on the podcast, Sage and I are together still. If you're watching on the YouTube, it's quite obvious that we're sitting in the same room.
Yeah.
But if you're on the podcast, we're together. We're in Arizona. Ride and Laugh across America.
Yes.
Happened. It was a great success in many ways.
Yeah.
And now we've just continued to ride almost every day in the desert.
Yeah, man. Yo, the progression has been through the roof. It's been so much fun, man. Man, we make a good team.
Who would have thunk?
Who would have thought?
We should do like a weekly podcast and really start talking mountain biking. And we're having so much fun hanging out with everybody, riding with people, just working on different things. And it's funny when you mentioned progression.
Yeah.
And for you, the trip was like a steady progression, and then we got to Arizona, and the progression has just been like continuing to move forward.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm in a little bit of a different, I had the 3 falls that we talked about on the last live podcast that we did. Not live, but the last.
The last podcast.
Am I confusing people? I'm confused. I'm confused.
Live?
Wait, when are these guys coming on live? So my journey is I would say less linear in that progression.
Yeah.
But no less valuable. Right? We can't just look at how well we're riding and say, that's how good of a mountain biker I am, or that's how well my life is going, on the bike and in life. It's not linear.
Well, you're still the same mountain biker. You're still ultra fit. You're still ultra talented. You're still everything that made you what you were on the bike, you still are. You're just learning a new technique.
Yes.
So it might feel like it's not progression, but it is.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
You're starting a new page and a new chapter in terms of jumping, and that's amazing. So it might feel emotionally like you went backwards, but you didn't go backwards. You are still the awesome Danny that everybody knows. Come on now.
This bit. I really like this bit.
All right then. Okay.
Yeah. Ride and Laugh 1 at Gmail, YouTube comments. If you want to compliment me, let's keep it coming. Keep it coming. Absolutely. And it's really interesting because I had the falls. They were all jump falls.
Yeah.
And yet I felt hesitant on the tech. And it was all about this body position.
Yeah.
We did a ride on South Mountain with the great Rob Drew.
Yeah.
Who is a local, just shredder, just amazing rider.
Yeah.
Great guy. Went out to breakfast with him. Awesome conversation.
Yeah.
And Rob always is dropping gems just left and right. He's got such a great mountain bike mind. But one of the things he said that I really resonated with, of the many things he said, was the most dangerous time for a mountain biker is often after a fall, because we're hesitant, we're riding with a little bit of fear, and if we don't give ourselves some grace about that, you can get into this pattern of keep falling, and I've been there.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about, and assuming you're not hurt, there's a difference, right? I mean, if you have a fall and you're hurt, there's a different approach to the rest of the ride. But if you're not hurt, I go into ultra aggressive mode, if I've been doing mistakes or making silly mistakes, sometimes I'll go the exact opposite. I'll get even more aggressive. Mm-hmm. That did not happen on that ride. That was a terrible ride for me, and I couldn't get out of my own way, which also happens.
Yes.
Which also happens.
As well as you've been riding. The day that we rode with Rob, that you were like, let me show him what I got.
It's this is what you get, Rob.
Grace.
Grace. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But that day aside, typically if I have a fall, I get more aggressive. It's almost anger, upset with myself, and then I'll let that come out on the trail. And it works out. It works out.
Do you think that's unusual? I feel like that's unusual. I feel like most people, when maybe I'm just here's what I do.
Yeah.
I don't want to say most people, but I get more timid. My fear response comes back, and I have these old habits of pushing back from fear, being scared to really get into it. And then I move back on the bike and back wheel is now heavier, front wheel is lighter, I'm less in control, the bike is taking me for a ride instead of me controlling it.
Yeah.
That's what's been so interesting with this jump journey is having my chin forward, more forward, more forward, more forward. Whatever I feel is, we've been doing some jumps at Estrella, whatever I feel, Estrella.
Estrella.
The locals are like,
right,
you gringos are really butchering the local Spanish names here.
Glad you said it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But one of the things you've been saying is aggressively forward. Whatever you think is more forward.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah, you can go more.
Yes.
I know. It is crazy. I guess the way that my brain works is like, if you're making mistakes or it's a little fall or you just feel like, oh, I'm getting timid and it feels uncomfortable, my brain switches to the opposite. It's like, well, this is uncomfortable and I'm not doing well. Why continue to do that?
Yeah.
You know, like, let's change the logic. Like, let's get more aggressive and let's have fun. And that often solves the problem. You know, when you commit more.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. And I kind of trust in that. I kind of trust in that approach. I've been doing that for a long time and it's paid off. Like, I have not had a serious crash in a very long time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep doing this.
Yeah. You're riding at a high level and that aggressive and that confidence is just building on itself.
Right.
So we did an awesome ride in the West Valley of Phoenix. And not a lot of people get over there. The Estrella's over there. There's some really cool trails.
Yes.
And we did a ride that was in the White Tank Mountains called Goat Camp.
Yeah.
And if you look at the loop, it's
terrible name, by the way. Terrible name. Like
Goat Camp?
Come on.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
Oh, that trail deserves a way cooler name.
Well, but I think of like billy goats, of mountain goats.
Oh.
You know what I mean? They're camped out on that trail.
They're the only ones that can get up there.
That trail. That's right. It's got to be a goat.
That's true. Okay. All right.
But it's not I don't know that it's a mountain bike trail. It felt like a hiking trail with some mountain bike lines in it.
Oh, yo.
And when it was a long ride to get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
Which was double black, legit double black tech, raw downhill, steep, loose, just like choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
And when we first got to it, I was looking at these lines and I was hesitant.
Yeah.
And it was like, I want to ride my bike. And in my mind, it was like, I just got to get into it. I got the skills.
Yeah.
I know the body position. I got a great bike. I just get into it and start moving forward.
Right.
The longer, and listener, Ride and Laugh on the Gmail and YouTube comments, sometimes the longer we look at something, the harder it gets to pull the trigger.
Truth? Yes.
So it was like, you know what? I just got to get into this. And then once I started to keep them rolling, keep the wheels rolling, and eyes up, and started, oh my gosh, well, surfing down these switchbacks and making moves and getting over the loose stuff and getting over the steep stuff, and I'm starting to hoot and holler, and this is mountain biking. This is fun, and the skills are there, and I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I just have to get into it.
I know.
And then it felt really good.
I know. As someone that's ridden with you for so long, one of the things that I know you struggle with is being stiff on the bike. And I noticed, man, as soon as you went to that headspace, man, you got dynamic, you were loose. I saw a few like endo turns, you know, and that makes a huge difference. You know, when you're stiff on that kind of stuff, it shows up in your riding. You know, this stiffness, and it feels horrible. It's almost like your suspension is locked out.
Yeah.
You know, but when you get loose and you start flowing, you move with the bike, you move with the terrain, it smooths everything out, you know? I don't know. I saw a whole new Danny on that ride. It was pretty awesome.
It was really awesome. I was dreaming about it all night.
Yeah.
I mean, we were exhausted.
Yeah.
And I was like, still had so much adrenaline that I was like, wow, would I want to do that again? That was pretty scary in parts.
Isn't that crazy, right?
But then as I'm like laying down to go to bed and I'm just thinking, I was like, wow, that was so much fun. Yeah. And I feel like I could feel my confidence coming back. Like, okay, I'm ready to start visualizing and riding hard trails again with more confidence. Yeah. The skills are in there, and so we talk about stacking wins. It was nice and I was riding blind. You wanted me in front of you for the video, even though I was going for the trail stage video, if there is one. I was going way too slow. You got a little taste of what Jeff Windsor experiences all the time out here in Arizona. Like, you're going so slow. But my comfort speed is slow.
Yeah.
And that's something else I'd like to work on is rolling with a little bit more speed, a little bit more confidence. But one thing at a time, rubber side down, having fun.
Right. Yeah, that's just repetition. You just mentioned something about, it being our first time and, thinking about like if and when we go back, and it's like, we had that conversation in the parking lot, like, is this a trail that we'd want to do again? And the difference between riding something blind and now that you know how hard it is, how much would that play into your brain?
Yeah.
And that is a tough one, like when you're blind, you don't know how hard it is. You don't know any better.
Right.
You're
just reacting.
You're just reacting.
Yeah.
Which is like, man, there's something to be said to that, right? If you could overhaul your mindset to be, I'm just reacting.
Yes.
I'm right here in the present moment. We talk about that, right?
Nailed
We're
it.
in the present moment.
Nailed it right there.
We're reacting to that trail in that moment. We're not thinking about it beforehand. We're not remembering how hard or something is difficult. You're just, how's this feel right now? And I'm going to just get aggressive with this. If I can do it, I'm going to get aggressive with it and do it. And in a way, we were saying it's a disadvantage, but the more I think about it, the more it becomes an advantage. Because you proved that you've done it. You did it.
In a lot of ways, it is an advantage because you're looking at it as like, okay, wow, I just did that without even knowing what the trail was. I'm reacting. The skills are in there.
I meant the second time.
But okay.
Yeah.
Well, the first time through when you're riding blind, it forces presence.
Yeah, it does.
It forces presence. You can't be thinking about, there's this other thing coming up that's really hard that I'm worried about.
Yeah.
And when we're present on the bike and in life, when we're present, everything's flowing. There's a little more gratitude. There's a little bit more patience, a little bit more grace, a little bit more love.
Yes.
And certainly on the bike, much better reaction.
Yeah.
Right? You're focused on what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And so it all comes down to presence. Ride and Laugh 1 at Gmail and YouTube comments. If this was resonating at all, if you have any questions. One of the things that I really noted on that ride, it was like I said, was just get into it.
Yeah.
And moving forward with aggressive confidence, aggressively centered.
Yeah.
And how does that play out in life? If we take those, because mountain bike synchronicities, as we talk about here on Ride and Laugh podcast, right?
Yeah.
So we take those lessons from the bike and we apply those to life. How are we moving forward now with confidence and aggression? How does that change our perspective on our day-to-day activities?
It's funny. It brings me back to a story that our buddy Stick once told us. And he was having some struggle at a job and, he got a call or something like that. And he was saying to us, like, he took the call and he's like, I nailed it. He's like, I nailed that call.
Yes.
And he's like, had I been knowing that call was coming, I would have probably been overthinking it and, all this stuff. But like, it just happened. He trusted his skills, his knowledge that he had. Has nothing to do with mountain biking.
Yes.
But it works.
Right.
He trusted his skills. He trusted his knowledge. And that meeting went fantastic. Sorry, Stick, if that was more information than he wanted people to know, but I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
It happens on this pod.
Yeah.
When we first did our first couple episodes, you had this Word document. You had it open and it was like and it felt static. And when you threw that all away and we're just in this present, how's this conversation going? We're just going with the moment. You're saying I'm reacting, I'm saying you're reacting.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing.
Right.
Trust it.
Right. We're not thinking about what I'm going to say to you next.
Right.
I'm just actively listening.
Right.
What's happening right now. And so when we look at our mountain bike success and then we look at life, go for it.
Yeah.
Take a chance.
Right.
You got the skills. If you're good, and especially if you know you're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Then commit fully.
Yes.
Don't pussyfoot around it. That's a real word, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember that from vocabulary.
I don't have to bleep that?
No, I believe that's a real word.
Okay.
Yeah. Hashtag pussyfoot. It better be a real word. There's a lot of bleeps in this,
That's right.
in this one.
Yeah.
I feel like I remember that from 8th grade vocabulary.
Yeah.
One of the benefits of 8th grade vocabulary. But
all right, quiz. How do you actively listen on the trail? I know the answer.
Oh, okay. All right. I was gonna say you're feeling the bike. You're feeling the trail.
Yeah.
You're feeling the weight in your feet.
Yes.
Right. And for me, it's activating a few mantras. Keep them rolling, bouncing. We've been talking about that's a whole other podcast. Man, the bouncing you've been coaching me on. I mean, it doesn't hurt that I've been riding with a coach. Like getting some great tips.
Thanks, Danny.
A coach who knows me really well also. But Trail Sage, if you're interested, he's in Arizona.
Hey now.
He's going to be in Pennsylvania soon. This coaching is available. mindset and skills. I can't recommend it enough. What would you say presence on the trail feels like? Active listening?
If I'm active listening on the trail, and you know this about me, I'm taking notes that whole ride. And, as we're climbing that trail, that Mesquite Trail, which was a double black climb. I mean, that thing was insane.
Yeah.
But as I'm climbing it, I'm noticing, the texture on the rocks. And I make a comment about this in the video if it comes out, that the rocks that had texture had grip. But as soon as the rock was flat, there was dust all over it. So I'm making all these mental notes. That's actively listening on the trail. You are taking notes throughout the trail. Like, okay, if this is facing down, what does that mean? And I'm listening to all this now. I'm taking notes on how my tire is reacting to the dirt, and when it's getting loose, what's happening, right? And does it solve everything? No. Like, obviously, that's part of riding blind is going to be new and there's going to be different things. But there are notes that you can be taking. And what I loved about what you were saying was listening to your body too. One of the things that I was really scared about was that double black tech climb took a tremendous amount of energy. And I did not prepare enough water, as typical Sage, my hydration sucks. And I started having to nurse my water as we were climbing. This is 2,200 feet of climb. And the first half of it was
more than that. Yeah, it was 24, 25. Yeah.
Yeah. And the first half, 1,000 feet was just super technical. So in my mind, I'm like, listen to your body. I know I get hurt when I'm fatigued. And sometimes you don't even know. So actively listen to your body. Man, that was a really good point you just made.
Yeah. So being present when you're on the trail, for me, especially when you're on some of these long climbs, you would be like, oh, look at this view, or look at the trail that we just came up, or there's the trail that we came down. And, suddenly I lift my head up and I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've just been in my head, just turning the pedals, just slogging along.
Yeah.
And then it's stop and smell the flowers, right? I look up and there's this beautiful Arizona mountain landscape, and it's a sunny day, and we got a nice breeze, and there's these little mountain flowers. And so just being present, and all of a sudden you're out of your head, and so you want to live in those places where you're present, trusting, and then once you commit to do something, you're going to do it aggressively. Yeah. And that's really something I really took away from that ride that I'm learning. And when we talk about progression not being linear, in our minds, Dan isn't progressively getting better at riding his mountain bike, bang, 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 bang. But the life lessons I'm getting are going to take me there. So just trusting, okay, I had a fall, I had a setback, but that happened for me as well. Because it's gonna open my mind to more possibilities of getting even better, of riding more aggressively, of being more centered. Whereas in the past, I may not have been open to that as much because everything was working.
Well, I think you put a lot of pressure on yourself. Just hearing the way that you talk, you put a lot of pressure on yourself in execution. And I don't think that's what makes you an amazing mountain biker. I don't think that's what makes you an amazing person. What I love about Dan is your ability to think things through. I love that about you. And, you might say, well, that's a negative, Sage. I wish that I could just not think and just do that. But technique is just 50% of it. Mindset is, actually, I think mindset's even more important than technique, but we can get into that on a whole nother different podcast. So you're putting a lot of weight on the technique, and you're like, oh, I need to get more forward and blah, blah, blah. And so maybe I'm not as good of a mountain biker as how it sounds, but that's not fair. And you can learn technique. Technique can be learned. That doesn't mean that you're any less of a rider. That means your ability now to think things through and work on technique is going to be a benefit. So your progression level is still continuing to go up, because your mindset is so strong. And I love that about you, man. I don't think that you've had a setback at all. Yes, it sucks that you got hurt, but to me, I think you're just as strong of a mountain biker as you ever were. The things and the fact that you're aware of what you need to work on. Just listen to how you're talking about okay, now I'm getting timid. I know I need to get more aggressive. And you did it. Mm-hmm. You executed it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can feel the difference now. I really can. When I start to get back and the bike starts to lead me, I can feel the difference.
That's huge.
Just like in life, right? I notice when I'm in my head. I notice it constantly, which just means I'm aware of how much I'm not present and coming back to presence. So coming back to center on the bike, coming back to center in life, it all works together. And the more present we are, the more confident we are, the more committed we are, the better that everything flows.
Dude, that's a superpower, man.
Yeah.
I know it sounds ridiculous. That is a superpower. The awareness is the hardest thing, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I struggle with that.
Yeah.
You catch me on it all the time. Dude, you're talking terribly to yourself, because you're aware, you can make the change.
I love what you said about awareness being a superpower. And that's something, listener, we all have access to that.
Yeah.
To focus on that awareness, focus on presence, focus on trust, see what happens. What's the best that can happen? Instead of thinking through all the things that could go wrong, what about the opposite? What's the best that can happen? That awareness, our thoughts, our freedom of how we think and what we want to focus on, that's our superpower. We all have access to that. RideandLaugh1@gmail.com if you have any questions or any stories, YouTube comments. We appreciate everyone's feedback. We are so grateful to everyone for tuning in.
Yeah.
We're moving forward aggressively and centered and with confidence.
Love it.
We're having a great time. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. We're going to have more content, and check out the Instagram. We're having some content on Instagram as well.
Oh, yeah.
With Danny's Mountain Bike Minutes.
Yes.
And more.
Yes.
But yeah, everyone have a great week and a great week of riding. If you're listening, you're definitely one of us. You love mountain bikes. We appreciate you. Ride and laugh.
I'll see you, everyone.